Hey, I'm Bob Matchia, and today I'm glad to be here at Yates Banjos. And through the years, I've been a good friend with Warren. We've been old fishing buddies and picking buddies through the years. And uh, Warren called me the other day and was wanting to share the secret of the pre-war banjo. And this secret, he wants to share with the whole world to let them know um, what he's discovered, and this secret just can't be encapsulated anymore. It needs to be out. And so I'm here to help Warren get this story out to the world about the pre-war banjo sound that Warren has found out about. And I'm really privileged and feel honored that he had asked me to help him do that.
Good to see you here, Bob. I appreciate you coming. So.
Well, it's always my privilege to be here. We've been friends for a long time.
Been through a lot together.
Yeah, I was honored for you to ask me to be just a small part of this video and for you to share with the world the pre-war sound, and what you've discovered through the years. It brings back a lot of memories. The videos that we've done in here with Donnie Little.
Oh, I know a lot of comedy stuff. We've done a lot in this shop, and if we can have something better, then I want it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, serious stuff like that.
Yeah, serious stuff. Yeah, it's but when you talk about the banjo, it's
That's a much more serious thing. It means a lot to people. Just having a banjo they can bond with.
Yeah, and drool all over it.
Yeah, banjo players do. Yeah, they.
So, but I know, when I first started coming down here, 20 years ago or whatever, you were in here at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
1930s, which would be pre-World War II. And those banjos just had some things that were so special that they're still sought after today.
Right.
So, once you have experienced one of those, you don't just forget about it. It can become very haunting. So
yeah.
It's just, I like, somebody says, well, this can't be done. Well, that's kind of a challenge, So just kind of took it and ran with it. And, I had some help. I had a lot of help. A lot of people that knew a lot of things that I didn't. Not necessarily about how it came about or how it's supposed to be made, but they understood what it's supposed to do and what it sounds like. And I've had people to send pre-wars down here that I could take apart and study. It was just a lot of good things happen at the right time to be able to pull this off.
Right. So when you take say the banjo as a whole, for instance, we were talking about this. It's like that commercial on TV with the car parts. There's no unimportant parts.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it like the aspect of every part of that banjo is unique in its own part of the banjo. If you take one piece away and put an inferior part in there, then it's not going to get the sound that you're looking for in that pre-war sound. And to me, I still don't know that much about the pre-war sound, how things are put together. I've been here a lot, and I really don't want to know, your secret. But I know you're gonna.
Well, you'll
share with the
you'll
world.
get to hear it at the same time that everybody else gets to hear it, and that's right now.
But yeah, I'm excited about that and everything.
Yeah.
But how did you actually know when you hit this pre-war sound?
Well, it took more trained ears than what I have to let me know when I was getting close and what to look for. And at that point, I started becoming trained, and through the years, I became trained just like they were. And that's Donnie back there. He's doing a little bit of banjo tweaking for me. So, forgot what I was saying now.
Donnie was tweaking the banjos back there for you.
Donnie who?
It's the Donnie Little, aka Big Dr. Little.
Oh yeah, Big Dr. Little. But no, if you've ever called me before, you'll realize that I'll forget everything that we're saying in the middle of saying it. So that's my normal life. I call it Warren Yates syndrome.
Yeah, I have that too, but I use my name in it instead of yours.
Well, that's good. That's good.
It's a part of being in...
any kind of way that we can find not to be associated with each other has got to be some good things about it. But
yeah, it's kind of instead of pre-war, it's pre-geezer.
Yeah. Yeah, but, you know, when it comes to the parts, it's kind of like baking a cake. You know, you can take all the right ingredients and you can put them into one pot and you can stir it around and look at it. It looks like mud. You know, you have to do things to it. It has to be in certain conditions. You know, a tone ring has to have these certain things. It has to have a particular formula, a certain weight on a certain type of wood, and the wood has to be a certain type, and then the neck wood and all these other parts. Then it's how is it put together, and is the setup, and what particular model that you're after. You know, a maple banjo that would be like a Granada style, or what would be a mahogany banjo. They're going to be very much different. They share what is pre-war, but they're flavored differently. It's like both of you and I both speak English, but we both have a different accent. So in some cases, one voice might be better than the other for a particular application. But you know, pre-war, that it's a word that's used so much. It's hard to tell really what it means anymore. It's just overused. The pre-war banjos that I'm referring to are the very high dollar ones, the ones that had the original rims, tone rings, and of course a good neck, whether it's pre-war or it's new. The resonators were incredible, but they all came together to do a certain thing. And the specs on each one is different, which is where your sound comes from. But as far as the sound, it's kind of like 2 dimensions is like a picture, and 3 dimension is a box. So realistically, it should be a 3-dimensional sound that we get out of it. And we know that the inside of a banjo is like 9.5 inches in diameter, and it's, you know, a little over 3.5 inches from the head to the back of the resonator, and it should 3-dimensionally sound like it is exactly that size. But what happens when it sounds bigger than it really is and deeper than it really is, and then the notes become so incredibly clean that you can do things with them? If you can't measure that with a tape measure, but then you can physically do things with them, then I don't know what else to call it, but 4th dimension. Isn't that where ghosts live? You know,
Yeah.
If they're going to live somewhere, that'd be a good place to store them, I guess. But
well, but one of your favorite banjos, I guess, is what, the RB75?
it is to me. It just fits me. There's something about mahogany that it sounds so sweet and beautiful when it's played smooth, or you can really pick hard on it and you can really make it expand, and you can control all those things.
Well, and you were going to share, you know, to the world today your formula for your tone rings. You know, which
Yes.
you kept secret that you have that vault back there with the formula written down on it, and you said you were going to share with the world. Okay, what is that formula for that tone ring for the RB75?
Well, now the tone ring is going to vary a little bit depending on what you put it in, to whether it can reach its full potential. But basically, the one that's most widely used would be, it's made up of several different metals, and this is a ratio of the metals. For instance, you've got copper, tin, and then it's a matter of how it's poured at that point, which it's just all that has to come together. But you can change the smallest amount of each one of those ingredients, and it makes a whole different thing. It's like the other banjos. Sometimes all it takes is the neck wood to change it. Sometimes it's the formula, sometimes it's just arrangements of how things are putting together, the density of certain things. Now, with the tone ring being able to do this, it's got to go on the right kind of the rim. The rim is very important. It needs to be and then when the tone ring goes on it, then they complement each other.
But you did you started off, I know, purchasing your rims, and then you started making them.
Right.
And you actually built your own molds to put the wood in.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, about 10 different times, because each time that you do it, you find out it don't work. You try to make something a little bit better, so it's very expensive trying to learn this stuff. But yeah, I had to, in order to build something different than what was being offered, I had to go and make it. And if you don't do it the hard way, you can't figure out what the secrets are and where they come from, or how you're going to manipulate them to find the other thing.
So I know the grain of the wood and the different amounts of lamination to the rim itself plays a big role in that. So
absolutely.
So tell us exactly how you come up with that formula of the amount of grains and the amount of laminations to come up with that sound.
Some things you can copy simply by looking at it. Some things you have to test, and it's very difficult to be able to test. Like for instance, I cook my rim wood to make up for the natural aging process that would have happened. Now that's going to be the trick, because what you have to do in order to cook this wood, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to cook it to death and that should be good enough. What year did you simulate? 1700? I wanted to go back to the 1930s, so I had to be able to test to be able to go to that spot. The whole thing about testing that wood to get to that certain spot is to be able to do that, and then you can see what's happening, and then you've got that one piece of the equation answered.
Okay, it makes a lot of sense to me. I mean,
Well, I mean, once it's explained, everything is easy. It's trying to figure it out. It's kind of like going to the moon. It's not easy until you've done it. Well, now you got something that shows it works. Well, we had nothing to go on.
And you're kind of like the Thomas Edison of the banjo. I know, you talk about, coming up and finding this formula and making everything succeed, but there was a lot of failures along the way too, I know.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I look at myself as more of a, what would you call it, a failureist? If you don't mess up, you don't know what to fix.
Yeah.
So I can work on about anything because I have messed it up many times and had to fix it. So you kind of become an expert at it just by trying to fix your own mess.
Okay, so let's kind of finalize this into a nutshell. The main secret, if you had to come up with one thing that you want to share with the world on what you've come up with on the banjo, uh, as far as well, say the tone ring, the neck. I know you hadn't explained really, and I know I've been around you enough to know you're looking for certain grains,
Absolutely.
this wood that's several hundred years old, and I know you spend a lot of time hand selecting the wood that you use for the neck. So what's the main secret to finding this kind of wood and the kind of cut that you put on it to come up with this speed neck that you have, and to get the sound that resonates with that? What's your secret for this?
Well, basically, what a neck does is it takes all the vibration and allows them to travel at a certain, I wouldn't say speed, but it travels in a certain way. And of course, it's going to pick up flavors depending on what it's going through. So if something is dead, it's going to die off as it passes through. And if it's very alive, it's going to be enhanced, or it lasts longer when it goes through. But here's the trick: in all woods, the very first thing you have to do is you take it and at that point,
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that, you know. But yeah, you can't just take it for granted that this piece of wood is equal to that piece of wood. Not. And you know, we haven't even talked about the resonator yet.
Yeah.
You can take one resonator and put it on 3 different banjos, and they all change the characteristics of what's going on. And the Prewar generally always wins out as allowing the banjo to do what it's made to do rather than taking from it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you stand in front of a plate glass window and you play, the banjo is going to sound a certain way. If you stand in front of a mattress that's leaned against the wall and you play, you know, like we're likely to do at any given time.
Yeah. Well, I know I've been down here several times, and you've had resonators laid out on the table, and taken knives and saws and taking expensive pre-war resonators and tearing them apart to see what was inside. And I know you found out by all this experiment what gives the best sound. And I saw one night where you took $1,000 resonator and just cut around it and open it up. I know that had to hurt, but
Yeah, it hurt.
But
It hurt to the tune of $1,000.
yeah, and I know you got that money back quick because
Yes,
you learned the knowledge that you just got off that one, and look how you were able to put that together. And so the secret to that resonator is what? I know a little bit about the
first off,
different laminations, but tell everybody in your own words how you were able to pull that off to get that same sound from one that was made in 33.
well, you know, the first thing to consider is that, you know, people will say, oh, it's got to be old. That's just all there is to it. It's got to be old. I'm sorry, if it's a dog today, it's going to be a dog when it gets older, you know. And it may be a better dog, it may be a worse dog. So it depends on how it's going to make it through, and do you get something bad out of the way, or do you get something good? With the resonator, see how it reflects, and you can see how all that makes a difference.
Yeah.
It makes it's just night and day.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But you don't want a banjo resonator that's that great if it's going to intensify a banjo that's loaded with bad.
Yeah. And
You know, good gets better, bad gets worse.
well, even the banjos that you build that don't have a tone ring in them, for instance, you know, I've played one of those, and it felt like it was floating on air almost.
Yeah, exactly. And
the tone that came out of that banjo is just it's unbelievable for it not to have a tone ring in it.
I know.
And I know you spent a lot of time coming up with that secret. And
Well, that part was fairly easy because once you figure it out for the tone ring, it's just a matter of leaving the tone ring out, and it's already set to do what it's supposed to do.
it's amazing.
So,
But,
so I guess as far as explanation of the banjo, that's pretty well it. I mean, now people can know, and they can go out and try these different things and come up with their own version of that.
and I know there's a lot of builders now that you know it's like you know they're just sitting back in awe because now they know the secret to your banjos, and
Well,
I know it's going to have to hurt you.
they will if they're looking for the same sound and don't happen to have it at this point. They may have exactly what the world is ready for next. I don't know, but my passion was the sound of the pre-war, so I'll just speak for me at that point.
And you're talking about pre-World War II,
World War II.
not pre-World War
Now,
III.
during the 1930s, mostly.
It's been interesting. It's always my pleasure to be able to come down here and hang out and I know you call me once in a while and say you gotta come play this banjo. every time I hear that sound and I come down here, it always gets better. You know, there's got to be a stopping point somewhere.
Well, I especially like to do it to all my tightwad friends because, you know, I can create a sickness that they won't buy the cure for, and then it makes for a good laugh. You know?
I mean, I know that we pick at each other a lot, and the videos that we've done through the years have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we do these videos kind of as improv. It's usually first take all the way through. We just okay, here's the basic idea, and then we feed off of each other. You know, we hadn't really had too much former training, but we had just enough to kind of understand how it works, and then thinking about it every day, I guess, makes us the sicker person.
Yeah, and we actually were going to do a fan-based autograph signing, and we set up in a parking lot, and we had I mean, we were there for hours. I mean, 5 hours, and we still
there was a lot of people in that area. I can't say that one person actually stopped by the table.
Yeah.
But we were in a very high populated area.
No, they did stop by. Remember that one person was wanting to get directions. And
there's the third door down here on the left as soon as you walk in.
Yeah, and
it just feels good to help people like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I think of some of the videos that we've done that where I had the kidney stone that time.
Yeah.
And, Big Dr. Little and old Dr. Young did surgery on me, and they were using the banjo for a lithotripsy, where they were using sound waves to bust up the. We almost burnt the place down when you used
the fuse.
Fuse lit it
Yeah,
off.
I didn't know you couldn't put it out in water. That was the first one for me, so I had to go right on through it.
Yeah, we're there, in the middle of this.
And then to know that I was going to clip it off, it's going to take off like a ball of rocket inside of a place that'll burn down. No, I didn't know it.
And here I am, duct taped to a table. They got me on the table duct tape. If you know, you can always go back and look at the videos at yatesbanjos.com and scroll down to the comedy shop.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, or
and
just
look-
go to YouTube and type in Warren Yates Banjo Comedy and just see what happens.
It's well, it's always been my pleasure, and like I said, we've been friends a long time, and you know, the fish that we caught. I mean, I remember that one fish that we caught. That thing was. It had to be that far from the bank when we caught it, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it was big himself. You know, it was like a pillow or something. He was so
yeah.
big, but
it was a pill.
took him off. Oh, you took it off the bed, yeah.
And yeah, we've had a lot of fun picking through the years and doing the videos and things.
I guess that's what keeps us sane, is acting like people that are not sane.
Yeah, it's.
And I did kind of get to the point where I was wondering if I was going crazy because I couldn't remember anything. So I told my wife, I said, keep an eye on me in case I start doing weird things. And let this be a lesson to everybody. If you think you're crazy, don't ask a crazy person to watch you.
Yeah.
You'll have more sicknesses than you ever thought about.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, we're messed up, but we admit it. You know, it's the people that don't admit it's the ones you gotta look out for. So.
Yeah.
Like Donnie Little used to. I mean, I didn't mean to. I was just gonna give you his initials, like DL, not Donnie Little. I wasn't gonna say his name or nothing, but.
Well, you know, he played Banjo Man and just put a B on there, and I wanted to put BM. He said, I don't know about that. That don't sound exactly right. BM. I said, well, just put B. Okay. So at halftime, we don't even know if each other's serious or not, but, you know.
Yeah,
But,
Donnie is so funny doing the videos.
yeah.
I mean, it's hard for me to
all
keep from laughing.
he's had zero training and more funny than we ever thought about being just from being Donnie. But I tell you, I guess we'll go ahead and cut our video because I know that the people now that understand what a pre-war is about, they're going to want to go and play their banjo and see if they can start to hear and try to put together some kind of plan to go and get their hands on one and see if what I'm saying is true.
Mm-hmm.
It just it just does take a while before it grows on you because you can play one. It's like, well, I understand it, I guess, but it's a good banjo, but I don't see it being all that. And then you go to bed that night and you think about it, and you wake up next morning. There was something that I heard that I can't explain, and I got to get my hands on it again. Well, you've started a lifetime of research at that point because every day a pre-war will show you a new thing to be used and utilized and be able to hear and feel that you've never felt before, and you gotta have it once you've experienced it.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, as far as a sickness, I'm as sick as there is.
Yeah, I agree with that, and at least you're honest about things. And well, I appreciate the opportunity to come down and help you do this video, and now the world knows all the secrets that you've kept stored up for years and years, and I know it's got to feel good to get all this off your chest.
Finally get it off my chest, because, you know, a good secret is hard to keep.
Yeah.
So it just feels good to tell one person. I told you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And the world too. You know, you forgot about them.
Well, yeah, I guess we should have thought about that ahead of time.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
okay. All right. Well, Bob, good to see you again.
good to see you.
Thank you for coming by.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all for listening, and please hit the thumbs up mark so that we can try to get this video out, and please send it to all of your banjo friends, musicians, just everybody. So thank you, Warren Yates.
And Bob Matthew over here.
Yeah, I see. I'd forgot him already.
He's, yeah. I realized it was loud in there, so just to recap, the secret of the pre-war banjo is. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Yeah, and through the grapevine, you know, I mean, I talk to a lot of people that play banjos, and you just hear different aspects of things that with banjos. And I don't think I've told you this before, but one of the things that someone had told me is that you've actually used, when you first got started, using a caputapator in your banjos. And I don't know, you know, I mean, I haven't looked in the back of any of your banjos to see if you are using caputapators or not, but
there's a time back in the beginning when I first started building banjos that I might be subject to using something like a caputapator. But I can safely say today I'm trying to stick with as much the way pre-war did it as I possibly can, and so therefore, you know, no, I don't use caputapator at all in my banjos now.
so you didn't even use one then, you're saying, or did?
Well, I'm saying there was a time when I might consider something like that. It does not mean that I have admitted to anything. It'd be a good time to change subject. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, like testing, though.
Yeah.
Hey, listen to this. That thing's got 800 horsepower on it. And if you want to play something real soft, hey, listen to this. All the notes is good and separated. Listen to it.